Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Nate. I also go by Hockey Boy Nate, and today we are going to be discussing the threat for severe weather today into tomorrow, as well as snow. Wait, hold up. Let me check my script. Snow. That's it. I've given up. I'm not forecasting anymore. It's just no. I'm just kidding. We're going to come back. We're going to discuss it all. So if you guys, I actually have one question for the people in the Northeast before we get started. Okay, because we're not there to the snowfall event yet to the point where we can, say it's an urgent event. But I want to ask the people in the Northeast, all right? Because I live in Pennsylvania. We barely get any snow as is, or at least southern Pennsylvania. So, how much snow is too much snow? Like for a typical event in the winter? Like, is it 12 inches? Is it 18 inches? Is it 2 feet? Like how much is too much snow to the point where it can become a problem for you all? Because I know in places like Rochester when I was there for a blizzard in 2017 or something like that. It had 2.5 feet, and you guys didn't plow it. You guys just had the tracks to which people were to follow and kind of ride under on the interstates and stuff like that. So, how much is too much snow for it to be a problem for you all? That is something curious. I'm curious as to what your thoughts are in the comments. Anyways, let's discuss the severe weather first. Just to get that out of the way, there is a slight risk that has been issued for today here in portions of southern Louisiana, southeastern parts of Texas, into a little bit of Mississippi, just right at the corner of southeastern Mississippi. So New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Metairie, as well as Lafayette and Beaumont. You guys are in this slight risk, so you guys definitely need to monitor that. Some other areas that are around this slight risk and the marginal is Houston, Dallas, Arlington, Plano, and Garland, as well as Biloxi. So if you live near those areas, or even Hattiesburg, Shreveport, and Monroe, you guys are near that as well. So if you guys are near that, you guys definitely need to monitor your weather here for today. Your risks here include a 15% chance for hail, which whether you're in the 15% indicated in yellow, the 5% indicated in brown, you have that probability of seeing 1 inch size hail or larger within 25 miles of a point. You also have a 15% chance for wind in a very small area for the most part, located near New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Metairie, Kenner, and Marrero. So if you live in those areas, you have a 15% chance of getting severe wind gusts and upwards of 58 miles per hour. Same thing if you were in a 5%, except you just have a lower probability. You also have a 2% chance for tornadoes. There is a decent chance here. It's a low chance, but a non-zero chance. So I'd highly recommend turning on emergency notifications on your phone, especially since if there is a tornado warning over there, which Dixie Alley does weird things. We're in that Dixie Alley, the deep south. They do. There is some weird stuff that happens with these storms, so you never know that if there could be a tornado warning that could occur, and that might actually be able to save your life. So please, I'd highly consider turning on emergency notifications here. We look at tomorrow, and finally, we've been talking about this event for quite some time, that possibly the end of severe weather for a little bit. Here's your marginal risk. Here's your severe weather. You also have another marginal risk over here. It looks very familiar to most of you because this actually was the same area over here in Virginia and North Carolina that actually had severe weather on Friday when we did our giant live stream with the tornado that was overnight. But earlier in the event, we actually had some severe weather that was in southern parts of Virginia and northern parts of North Carolina. And so that is right within the same areas that was on that day. And so places near Raleigh, Greensboro, Raleigh, as I mentioned, Durham, that general vicinity over there, almost heading off into places like Norfolk and Chesapeake, maybe even Virginia Beach. You guys definitely need to monitor your areas for severe weather. But some other areas, for the most part, really close to Houston and Galveston, all the way over into New Orleans, Biloxi, and Mobile. If you guys live over there, you guys definitely need to monitor this for some severe weather. 5% chance, 5% hail, and 2% chance for tornadoes. All likely here today. Well, tomorrow. Small chance, but not a non-zero chance. So I wouldn't even be surprised if that actually upgrades a bit. All right, let's take a look at the HRRR model here. Get some timings out from most of you all, because this is a pretty interesting event for the most part. Let's take a look. This is the morning into the afternoon hours. You can see some scattered storms start to develop near Lake Charles. So if you guys live over near Lake Charles or even closer to Lafayette, you guys can start seeing some severe weather at around 11 o'clock, maybe even 12 o'clock. So definitely something to watch out for. And then as this continues to progress over into the afternoon hours, you can see how more widespread this event becomes as this heads east. So definitely something to watch out for. A lot of scattered thunderstorms here, with even a stronger storm towards the coastline of Louisiana. So Intracoastal City could potentially be impacted within those areas. So if you guys live over there, by 7 o'clock tonight, you guys should be getting your worst amount of storms. Even Monroe and Shreveport, if you live up into those general vicinities, you guys could even get some lingering storms that could prevail all the way throughout midnight. So definitely something to watch out for. Some more scattered storms that'll be over places like Lake Charles, closer to Baton Rouge and Lafayette overnight, and that'll continue to be there all the way throughout. You also have some more storms that'll be within that general vicinity. Let me move over a bit. So you can see right within the same time frame, some scattered thunderstorms begin to develop at around midnight into Texas. So as that continues to move on through, you can see how those scattered storms aren't exactly all too strong. But as we head into the morning, I know I'm saying that phrase a lot, but you can see more thunderstorms begin to develop across the board here, here in Louisiana, more into the afternoon. And you can see the storms actually get into southern parts of Arkansas, so Pine Bluff could be getting into the action tomorrow. You also have some more storms that are forming across Louisiana, a lot more sporadic here in southern Louisiana. So this would be at around 5 o'clock in the morning, as well as 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. You have a lot of strong storms here that's moving through Alexandria. And so if you live over in the Alexandria areas, right in the morning is when I can fully anticipate you guys to get a lot of rain within your general vicinity. And I have a feeling that for the most part, if you guys live in Louisiana, you guys are going to get a lot of rain to begin with. So definitely something that I would continue to watch for flash flooding, as well as maybe even a tornado threat right within along these lines. You could potentially get a quick spin up along the line based off of how strong the wind shear is towards the coast. So I definitely continue to monitor this. I'll keep updating you all as time progresses, but this is definitely something that we're going to want to watch as this continues to move on through. Taking a look at the energy here, how much moisture for the most parts within these areas, the dew points, usually you want 60 and above in order to see strong thunderstorms, and right within the watch issued area with our marginal and our slight risk, you can see the blues indicate 60s and the purple indicates 70s. We definitely have a lot of energy there in Louisiana, and so I would not be surprised if you could potentially see some strong storms from that. You could potentially see some more strong storms, maybe even towards like the Lake Charles area. You can see some moisture return begin to settle into places like southern Louisiana. If you guys notice how it was relatively a low 60 towards the morning, and then all of a sudden the warm front brought up more of that moisture, you can see how places in Louisiana got back up into the 70s real quickly. So some of that moisture return from the Gulf of Mexico actually creates a lot more of moisture for it to potentially become a bit more severe, maybe even tornadic along the coastal areas of Louisiana. Still 60s for the most part, though, in regards to the dew points. Some 50s in the greens is showing up here on the models, but for the most part, severe weather event here is going to be in the 60s and 70s. So that's definitely something to want to monitor in regards to the amount of energy, and the amount of wind shear here is not too bad. We're looking at the 500 millibar wind shear here. You typically want over 40 to 45 knots in order to consider stronger thunderstorms, or even just thunderstorms in general. And there are some areas that get up to the 40 knots area. There's some areas that get less than that. But for the most part, it's in a relatively favorable environment. So you can't exactly say that it is unfavorable here for severe weather. It's just most likely how far north will these storms actually go. And if they go relatively far south, will it be able to impact some of the major coastline areas, especially with some of the populace down there. So I'll continue to monitor this as close as possible, and I'll continue to give you guys updates as long as I do more videos in the mornings and stuff like that. All right, let's head over towards the snow event here, and I'm gonna want to talk about some stuff that's happening towards New England first. So let's take a look at the timings of this event. This will be happening towards the later stages of this week, towards like Tuesday. And actually, you know what? Let's see how this develops. I have an idea. I was going to show you all just basically what all was happening, but we'll show you guys what's happening with the whole entire United States. You can see snow in the northern plains into the Midwest. That's not too surprising for most of you who live up there. Still some lingering snow showers. You can see that severe weather event that happens on Tuesday into Wednesday in Louisiana. That's a whiteboard, so I just blinded most of you all. I'm sorry. You also have some more snow across the Rockies, and so the potential for some resaturation for some of the ski resorts up there is possible, and that ski season may continue for you all. But you still see those severe storms that could be lingering on Wednesday. You also have some scattered storms in the mid-Atlantic that could be proving severe. That's the reason why you have that marginal risk up there. But then as this continues to move on through, your low pressure system then begins to develop, and then starts to translate its cold air into some of the areas in New York, Pennsylvania, maybe even a little bit of New Jersey, but definitely into the northern Appalachians, towards Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, as well as Massachusetts, into parts of New England. So definitely something that we're going to want to watch. You can see a lot of widespread snow here in the Northeast. You also see a lot of widespread snow here in the Rockies. Some areas near Goodland, Kansas, maybe further north into North Platte, heading off further into places like Colorado, Wyoming, as well as the Dakotas and Montana. You guys could also see some more snow. So I would definitely want to continue to watch these storms, these set of storms as this transpires, and we'll continue to watch this out for you. All right, let's go to a specific model here and see how much snow they are forecasting for this event. So let me go down to the Northeast first, and let's take a look and see what they actually think could transpire here. So we'll take a look at Kuchera, and just by looking at the Global Forecasting System model, or the GFS as most of you like to hear as, you can see heading into a Thursday night, that's when some snow really starts to become prevalent. So Thursday night into Friday, this will be mainly localized according to the GFS, near the southern parts of Vermont into Massachusetts, maybe even Connecticut. You guys could even see some snow. Some amounts could be in upwards of almost a foot, maybe even to a foot and a half of snow. You can see there's a little bit of blue here, right in the center part of the pink, which if you take a look at the bottom, it would actually indicate as potentially being closer towards 2 feet of snow, which, believe it or not, it is possible. But that's the Kuchera model here, or the Kuchera product here. so it tends to actually create more snow than maybe anticipated, but it's just a particular algorithm snow that could factor in towards a event. So really, we're going to want to take a look and prepare for the worst for the most part. But snow extends further into upstate New York, all the way over into Connecticut, Massachusetts. Boston seems to be out of this risk for the most part. Same with anywhere south of Boston. So Rhode Island near Providence, you guys could most likely be out of the risk here. But still, the main threat seems to be, or the main issue seems to be the larger amounts of snow into western parts of Massachusetts, southern parts of Vermont, even central parts of Vermont, into places like New Hampshire, and even in some areas north of Albany. North of Albany, you guys could even get some snowfall amounts and upwards of, say, 5 to 8 inches. So we're definitely going to watch that. Let's take a look at the 10-to-1 ratio here. And the 10-to-1 ratio actually says about that same amount as well into some of these areas, maybe even more in some of these areas. So maybe the Kuchera for once actually is being pretty conservative here within this event, but a lot more widespread here. You can see some of these pinks are. So definitely something we're going to want to monitor for the most part. As I said, southern Vermont could get an upwards of 2 feet of snow here, and that is definitely something that we're going to want to watch, especially if you live there. That could be too much snow. I asked this morning, or earlier in the video, how much is too much snow, and I'm really curious to see what you guys' answers for that, especially with driving. If you got some drivers here, with the people here in the Northeast, how much is too much snow for you all? So definitely want you to leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. But large amounts of snow here in a consolidated area within the Northeast. Definitely going to want to continue to watch that as this unfolds here later on. All right, let's take a look at the Euro model and see what it thinks about this event. And it definitely seems a bit more conservative for the most part in regards to our total snow totals. You can see how it still says that southern Vermont's going to get larger amounts of snow, indicated in that light blue right there. But you can also see some areas up here in northern New York, upstate New York, that could actually see some higher amounts of snowfall. So mainly because it's not near the Hudson River, and so it actually isn't, you can see how the Hudson actually creates some lower amounts of snowfall, and that's mainly because the areas near the Hudson typically are pretty warm because the water from the Hudson is going to be warm. So some lower amounts of snowfall could be falling if you live near the Hudson, if you live near any bodies of water actually. But for the most part, if you live in the higher elevations, the forecast here for snow is that you guys are going to get above 5 to 8 inches, maybe even to a foot in some spots, and maybe even higher than a foot. So if you guys live up here in, say, New Hampshire, as I mentioned, western Massachusetts, northern Connecticut, as well as into upstate New York, you guys really need to monitor this event as this unfolds. Then we also have the Kuchera run, which is a lot more smaller, but a lot heavier with the snow in southern Vermont. So it seems as if the major part of southern Vermont is going to be seeing the larger amounts of snowfall within this event. So definitely something that we're going to want to watch as this continues to unfold. The time frame here, as I mentioned, is a Thursday afternoon into Friday, towards the end of Friday into Saturday. That's when you guys could see your snowfall amounts that could really start to pile up here within most of these areas. All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look over at the Rockies. So let's see. I actually haven't seen the Rockies here. The Sierras. No, that's not Sierras. There's the Rockies. Boom, found it. Because Sierras could potentially get into the action as well, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see with this event here. So we'll take a look at the Euro first. We did the GFS before. Now let's take a look at the Euro. So a lot of snow could be coming into the Rockies here relatively soon. You can see at the Euro, starting from now, as soon as you hear the video, until probably the end of the week is when you continue to see some larger amounts of snow. Let's actually take a look at the NAM here and get a timing out here for you all. So 12K precipitation, composite reflectivity type. All right, so here's Tuesday. Heading on through. By the way, if you guys want to know what the time is happening, you guys are mountain time. So if you look at this time, look at it and then subtract 2 hours from it. That's what it is in mountain time for you all. So you can see by 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock here today, a lot of snow starts to really come across here in northeastern parts of Utah into much parts of Colorado. And that snow continues to linger for the most part all the way throughout the week. This is Wednesday into Thursday. And then Thursday, it actually clears out for Utah and central parts of Colorado. But Wyoming and Nebraska seems to be in the action here for the most part, all the way until Thursday evening into Friday, to which some of these areas could then see some more intense amounts of snowfall, and that'll continue to move on through all the way throughout the weekend. So if you live in these areas, for the most part, you guys are going to see some larger amounts of snow than the people in the north and east. The people in the north and east, there's a lot more people over there, so they might be impacted a lot more heavily, but still an equal chance of you guys seeing some winter weather here within some of these areas. So let's take a look at the Euro. As I said, that's not exactly what I wanted to see here. So Euro, and we're going to take a look at how much snow is going to fall based off of the 10-to-1 ratio. So you can see over time here, does seem to create some light amounts of precipitation here today on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday the snow becomes a bit more widespread into Wyoming, and then into Thursday, that's when you can start to see some higher amounts of snow that could fall within the general vicinity, and then Friday is when it could really start to pick up, especially into places like northeastern Nebraska, northwestern Nebraska, northeastern Colorado, those general vicinities, and then in the general Rockies vicinity heading into this weekend, that's when you can easily see some more amounts of snowfall. And so by Friday of next week, it seems that you guys could most likely see more and more snow that could pile on into your general vicinity. But all the way until the weekend, this weekend, I should say, some areas could see an upwards of a foot of snow. And then let's head over to the GFS, and the GFS actually paints a different picture here. You can see some of those bright blue amounts right here in central Colorado. So you guys actually, according to the GFS, are going to get over 2 feet of snow, and that's good for some of the areas for ski slopes and stuff like that. I'm not sure if there's an actual ski slope over there. I haven't checked out myself, but there is, if there is some over there, you guys must be pretty happy because business is still booming for you all. So definitely something that I would continue to monitor and watch. It seems as if from the entire span of Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, that's when you guys get a spurt of snow, and then Wednesday evening into Thursday morning, you guys get another spurt of snow, and then Friday evening into Saturday, or actually from Thursday night into Saturday, you guys can get a large spurt of snow, large amounts of snow here, localized into central Colorado, and so definitely something we're going to want to watch for the most part. But I'd say the first large shot of snow would probably be Wednesday evening into Thursday, especially for areas like Nevada, Utah, Colorado, as I said, Colorado, Wyoming, those areas over there, as well as into places like Nebraska and Kansas. From Wednesday into Thursday, and even into Friday, that's when I can anticipate the snow to really become widespread within your areas. And then heading off into the weekend, places in New Mexico could potentially get some larger amounts of snowfall as well. So this is definitely an event that we're going to want to monitor. The thing about the models is that they are pretty fidgety, even if it's really close to the event. So we'll continue to inform you guys about what's happening here with the weather as time moves along. But for the most part, that's pretty much it in the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please be sure to leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new, and turn on notifications, as well as share this with friends and family and on social media. I also have other social medias that you guys could follow. All of them are in the link in the description down below. We also have a Discord server. We were talking about the severe weather event yesterday in the voice chat, into how there was a bunch of storms that were splitting, more or less. And if you guys don't know what splitting is, basically it's what happens in the beginning of a storm's life cycle, to where the two storms actually split. The one that goes off to the north dies, or the one that goes off to the left, or we call that a left split, dies, and the one that heads off to the south or heads off to the right, that one actually intensifies and becomes your stronger supercell. So we saw a lot of splitting yesterday, with larger amounts of hail up into upwards of baseballs, even a 3-inch size hail report. So if you guys want to talk more about it within our Discord server, link is in the description down below to Twist of Fate. So as I said, that's going to be pretty much it. My name is Nate. I also go by Hockey Boy Nate. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot. I forgot we have these. How could I possibly forget? Feel free to make fun of me if you're one of these people, but we actually have sponsors. Look at this. Sponsors. I know, right? It's pretty crazy. Melissa Wallace, Ressa, Nightmare, Cryptomaria, Marie Hall, Back at the Ranch, Focus, The Real Necro, Tanner, Theresa, and Hockey Mama. All of you guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring. Yeah, without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we do today. So please, thank you so much. And yeah, as I said, that's going to be it for me. Nate, Hockey Boy, and Nate, take care. Peace.